This is Calcat the Calcatster, and welcome to the 8th episode of Starfleet Academy. Penultimate one's next week. So Life, the Stars, odd title. It's a reference to Our Town as a play. I've never actually done Our Town as a play, but I've heard of it. Sort of a Romeo and Juliet thing, kind of. But also the wedding, or like the wedding thing, kind of. Also a ghost story. Some other things. That's probably where they got the My Captain footage, although that was not in this story, because that's Dead Poet Society. That's a different thing. It appears they've used some of the rooms there are classrooms in some Canadian university that they're using as some of the backgrounds for some scenes. But mainly it's the set and the soundstage they built up there in Toronto. This particular episode was similar to Wink of an Eye and a number of other ones, and similar to Inner Light and then some other episodes. Also, there's a little bit of Inner Light. They're not saying it's Inner Light, but it's a little Inner Light too. And there's at le's one Orville episode like that as well. They like the idea of, and the classic Trek did something like this too. There's a character who evolves rapidly over time, but it's like a very brief period in it. But yes, it is the episode that features Sylvia Tilly, who is modeled after a Cillian character from one of my stories, Sandra Talisman. That's who she's supposed to be, and to an extent some other people, but yeah, Sylvia Tilly is Sandra from the original Cillian space, and she's obviously, that character is from the Cillian space, as well as Cal. Cal's not in this one, but he might as well be. Mary Wiseman didn't want to do a whole series, so she's like, I'll commit to an episode, appear in an episode. Which is ironic because originally they wrote the show around her and hired on Tawny Newsom from the other show and put her in production staff. And it's very rare that a writer and actor from a show becomes helping out with the show production and high up in the staff writing. It's very rare that happens. It's very talented. But she couldn't have known Wesley and Cito at the Academy. She couldn't have known them. Yeah, that story was probably in her head or something, that episode of Lower Decks. She couldn't have known them. She would have been a kid. We'll still maintain that. But there was an out. She said, she couldn't have known them. And not as children. It would have been 10 years later, and yeah. But yeah, when she was old enough. The character, yeah, we get it. They're different. Anyway, but she's not in this one. She was Dax in one episode, but in this one she's other people. This episode is also an homage. I will bring it out there first. An homage to Doctor Who, which is awesome. And the Kasq as well as Doctor Who. Yes. The website of Council of Geeks, Vera of the Council of Geeks, that guy, and also the Shives, and also Jesse Gender's other channel, should enjoy the Doctor Who references, because there are a lot of them in this episode. The Kasq are basically Time Lords, in a sense, and the Doctor does essentially a Doctor Who type thing, as the character who's like ancient and a Time Lord kind of thing. So yeah, he's playing the Doctor, literally. I know it's the Doctor from Voyager, but he's also doing kind of Doctor Who. Yes, there is a connection. Yes, it's in there. It's totally in there. Like, especially the black and white scenes on the Kasq spaceship, holographic Borg ship thing, holographic Borg / V'ger thing. No, it isn't that V'ger was assimilated by the Borg. Doesn't make sense. No, V'ger visited the Borg and saw some of their technology. Also visited Cybertron before Cybertron even existed in the Transformers lexicon. But yes, on to the episode. Sylvia Tilly comes aboard the Academy ship to help them out with their trauma from the Miyazaki episode. So they're connecting the episodes together like soap opera. It's a soap opera. It's space opera. Yeah, of course. So in the soap opera, you have melodrama and drama and stuff. The Tamara returns to the ship. Also, that name is also very similar to Tamara Celia, I think her name is, but it's similar enough to two on-location characters that it just is. And also one of the younger people from the church cast is, oh yeah, that girl is modeled after me. So no, not really. She just thinks it is after her. So yeah, but well, yeah, she's totally her. Now you gotta do. All she's got to do is find a hunky dude, the tall hunky dude. And then you're all set. Tall hunky dude. Yeah, they kind of resolve the triangle thing going on, which is common in many melodramas and plays and things like that. What about Genesis? What is the thing? Genesis is in the friend zone, so Genesis isn't gonna go with Tamara because she's really not interested in boys. Really, she's just pretending to be because she figures, why not? And like one of the other youth from the cast, she's very similar to that character. And also the Carta character. Although the Carta character claims to be straight. But they've just mixed it up. His gay kitty. They just mix it up with the other cats. They mixed up the cats. I made that joke in Carta 2. They're trying to fix her and turn her back. And I wrote the Carta 2 story not knowing this episode, which kind of goes there. And it's like, wow, okay. Okay, I did not predict that. So that they just on the same wavelength as me. That's what this was a Calcat episode. Definitely a Calcat episode. I didn't write it, but I might as well have written it. I know one of the writers is Jane Griggs, but it's not somebody I know. But what if it's Jane Piedmont? That would totally make sense. No, it's Jane Griggs. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's very much a Calcat story. It's all the right beats. It has all the right emotional tonnage. It's not overly smarmy. At times, they kind of overdo it with that slight theme from there's a timbre from Star Trek 4 in there that's kind of nice, but played slower in it a bunch of times. So the premise is that Sylvia Tilly arrives to help them out, and doing plays is a form of counseling. And I find that doing plays is a form of counseling, actually better than going to the counselor in some ways. But if you need it, go to counseling. I'm not saying don't go to counseling. I'm saying if you need it. But plays are very helpful to play a part and stuff. Very helpful for Asperger's and autistic kids and ADHD kids to be in plays, because and as young adults as well, because they can play a part that isn't themselves and learn more about themselves through that. That's a really awesome thing. I recommend drama to everyone that play drama. Yeah, of course, as a drama geek. Well, way back. As you can see my Brown production channel and all that. You can watch and see us acting insane, the failed child star that I was, directing my own stuff and my family stuff. Yeah, so here we are with the eighth episode, and we have yeah. So they're doing a drama. They decide to do Our Town because Sam picks it, the robot. The holographic girl is dying of holographic degradation. So, like in that Voyager episode, where something goes wrong with the hologram, like 2 Voyager episodes, they gotta fix the hologram somehow. So they go to the Kasq version of the holodeck. There's 2 other planets, Demartia and what's the other one? Kister 3 from Prodigy. Yeah. No, Lower Decks. So there's a couple other planets that did this as well. The device they fly up to is similar in ways to the artifact and to the Cillian version of the artifact. It looks kind of like the aperture unfolded like an origami thing from the V'ger. It looks like the V'ger. It's probably not. They're probably not V'ger. They probably just encountered V'ger, because obviously he's a space-time traveling creature, V'ger. It's weird that the aliens of V'ger didn't know that Voyager 6 was not Voyager 6, because the plate was burnt off. But, oh well, Star Trek. Also, the transporter should be able to fix everything. Death itself, even. Should be able to. Regenerate them, make them alive again. The holodeck thing, yeah. They did kind of reveal that the Doctor, because he lived 800 years more than all of them, that the Doctor character is playing Doctor Who in the movie, in the episode. Totally is. He's a doctor of the Doctor. That he has, they watched his people grow and die and stuff. So we have the play, they do Our Town, and which I think I mentioned that. And they're doing that, and they realize right away, because they're millennial Zoomers, that they're being tricked into being in the play to get through trauma. Which is, they realize that immediately, which they would as Zoomers. They'd be like, wait a minute, you're trying to trick us into understanding ourselves through this play. Sam has gone off to the meet the aliens, and they're not the wormhole aliens. There's some other group of hologrammatic aliens, the Kasq. Not too similar from Holocat and Kasq. But yes, if they're Holocat, then yeah, they should have just asked Holocat to show up. He would have been like, oh, I'm Q. I could fix all this in like 10 minutes. But I guess you want to, I'm going to make it interesting. So yeah, I'll take your time. But yes, and it's Cillian Realm. They go to Cillian Realm. The Doctor does that too. So there's the drama is good. The Caleb, during the play thing, Caleb discovers that Tamara has gotten drunk off space wine, or space booze, and he's a gentleman, so he doesn't do anything. And then she gets depressed because she's drunk on space wine, and she goes to space booze. Very similar to, actually, this is right out of Starship Legacy. Come on, guys, Star Trek Legacy. So it's a Legacy episode that happened in the Legacy episode. It totally happened twice. They've referenced space booze before. It's probably the same stuff. I bet Mahoney from Silly Trek would be like, oh, that's the good stuff. That Betazone stuff will knock you on the floor. Oh. And the joke would be that Kestra's character goes like, you can't handle that. What kind of Irishman are you? Well, it's not fair. You're a Betazone, apparently. Oh, yeah. She got blitzed too. And the captain was a gentleman, and he didn't do it. So she went to see the other girl, and in the story, she goes to see Genesis and pours out her heart to Genesis. No, we're just friends. We're in the friend zone. They almost said friend zone right there. That would have been funny, but they didn't go there. Friend zone, yeah. Genesis and Caleb's relationship as a fan of not daytime soaps, but the evening ones, like the reality TV shit. Okay, so yeah, that's what they were doing. That's exactly what they're doing. So yeah, even though it's smarmy and cheesy and stuff, okay, she's gonna put her to bed. And she's gonna work it off. But yeah, she admits that there were. The Tamara admits that apparently she is kind of evil when she, there was this girl that they were playing on the slides or something in the story, and she was jealous of her, and she went into a tube slide, and apparently got mentally brain damaged or something, probably because of her. She's kind of evil. So actually, Caleb's probably kind of a good thing he's not hanging around too much on that girl, because she cray. She a little bit not all there. You don't want to marry. You don't want to get with that. Caleb already got with that. So it's like, well, you already ruined it already. You already put it in crazy. But yeah. And Genesis warned him about that. That's what she meant. She transferred from the Tamara transferred from the War College to the Academy because that made more sense anyway. And yeah, she's like a grenade. She's gonna go off. That's a better inhibitor thing or whatever. Well, as a Cillian, she shouldn't really need one. She just curb your Cillian powers and don't use them on people. She used her psionic Cillian powers. Cillian powers. But yeah, the emotional beats on the play part and the acting in this episode is next level, and that's appreciated. This episode, if there are any haters out there left watching Academy, This episode doesn't emotionally get to them somehow. They're not human. So, there's something wrong with you. This episode was like, hey, God. No. They did it. They just nailed it, right? All of the characters did so well doing performance, coming out as more human. And that was the point of the robot girl. She's a holographic girl, right? She's a robot. They go to the Kasq to try to repair her, and the Sam. And the Kasq can't repair her. They just have to shut her off because apparently she was involved in the incident that the guy was killed in. And they try to repair her, and then the doctor, who's a hologram, finally steps forward. And, well, on the urging of Captain Ake, yeah, do something about that. He's a doctor. Just do no harm. He's a doctor hologram. So he proposes that they scan him. And then they come up with, and they bring up what happened on Voyager. It's a nice nod to the Voyager episode. And they're like, with that other life thing, oh, we can do that like these other guys did. Yeah, we can have Sam, since she was barely online for like a couple of hundreds of days, they can put her mind in the hologram, the Cillian space, they go to Cillian space. They don't call it that, but it's totally Cillian space. Doctor can live out 2 weeks in Cillian space with her and give her memories of growing up with the Doctor as the parent. So they do. It's a very touching moment. It might be smarmy to Mark's cards, but it's a touching moment. It works in the story. It's basically, I think it's more the inner light than it is the wink of an eye, because in Blink of an Eye and the other one, they were. And the Voyager one as well. They were trying. It wasn't as much an emotional sting as this one. There was more like, there was some in there, but yeah, or Meridian. It's more like Meridian actually. But yeah, they live a life in a place where time moves differently than here. So they're not necessarily the wormhole aliens because they have no concept of the passage. The passage of time is not linear. They go in and out of it. But these guys have a passage of time. Otherwise, they wouldn't send somebody for several days to be at the Academy, or in this case, 209 days, or a week, or a couple months, or how long it's been. Well, it's 200. Yeah. Oh yeah, and there's a disparity on the Trek website, including the fans saying, is it 2391 or 2395? They keep hinting that it's actually later in 2395. The star dates are different. It's the disparity of the 86 or the 860. Well, they must have changed the star dates at some point back there. It's weird that they're using them, actually. I think it would have been easier if this new show had just said, oh, we changed the star dates. It doesn't, we're not going to use those numbers anymore. That was one thing the Abrams movies kind of like tried to fix, with just saying, oh, it's such and such year and date. And that's what it is. And of course, just for the kiddies, just for the meme, did you catch at the very end, there's a Calcat reference in the stardate to a current brain rot meme. 8648441.67. 67. 67. Oh, come on, guys. No. Okay, 67. Yep. Check stardate 0.67. Yeah. That's not a stardate. That makes no sense. But it's funny. 67. So we know this show was in production during the brain rot meme, the beginning of that brain rot meme. About a year ago. A little less than a year. Yeah, about a year ago. We know when this was in production. We know what it was doing. We know what they're up to. And we knew when Cillian Tilly was going to star in this episode. And now it happened. So yeah. Yeah. Yay. Brought back the Cillian. Although she does kind of look like Mr. Carey's daughter. The actress does, but it's a coincidence. And acts like her a little bit. But yeah, it's Siobhan. But she's not, obviously. They weren't thinking of that. They were thinking of Sandra Gayton from On Location. That's who they were thinking of. And yeah, I could see Sandra Gayton doing a drama class. Definitely doing that. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. That character would totally be. In real life, she's a law clerk, but also she's a theater drama geek, so it's theater coach also. Yeah, she'd totally do that. Um, from way back. I mean, when raising when you were like the talisman raised in the Jung Swan cult, yeah, you tend to have a unique perspective on drama. Yes, but yes, but then out of it, no longer. So we have I really liked this episode. It was Star Trek. Yeah, it absolutely was a Star Trek episode. It helped to have some of the writers. I noticed that some of the producer writers in there. It wasn't a Jonathan Frakes episode. That was the one 2 episodes ago. But it was I think he did one of them. Yeah. But it was somebody very similar. Sometimes the camera angle thing came back a little bit there, with the guy in the foreground and the guy in the background, the line of sight all screwed up. Sometimes, but it wasn't distracting. You got to see Genesis in a tank top, but I saw that they showed that before. But yeah, you have the feeling that character is not really into dudes, but not really into girls. She's probably asexual. She's probably like, she's based on Rumbley. So I mean, Rumbley from the cast, the character of Rumbley. She's based, and maybe a little bit her sister. And so she looks like a little bit like Seska. So they threw her in there. So like a young Seska. And so she's got like and Cedo Jaxa was the Cedo Jaxa action figure in my fan films is a Seska action figure. They didn't make a Cedo Jaxa. So that's what's confusing. And Rumbley is also that action figure. So that's confusing. So there's like, she shows up. That's what they were thinking of. They put her in there. It's supposed to be Cedo. She's like a traveler. I suspect she's a traveler or that she's asexual. So she's not really interested in the boys. From the moment that she said, she kind of warned them, don't hook up right away because the person could be crazy, to Kayla in the early scene. I was thinking, okay, she is metro, but she's asexual. She's not interested in that, hooking up stuff. She doesn't do that. No. Well, they can hook up as long as it's fun. Exactly. As long as it isn't boring and dull like in the parody. Like, this kind of sucked. It was boring. But in the fan film, we redeemed that in the finale of the fan film by having Rumbley be turned on by the by the fact that Mark's card shows up in the final episode from Chimera. He showed up in our story, and he first he got with time traveler Asloth, and then turned around almost immediately and decided to get with us as well. That's how the show should end. The two of the executive producers about to get with each other. They couldn't kiss. I didn't make the action figures kiss. That would have been too much. So I just implied it, that they'd done something off camera. It was hilarious, yes. There wasn't behind the scenes, but it was taken down. And it wasn't very good. So, it doesn't matter. That's the story. Anyway, so yeah, behind the scenes is not going back up. Because it really wasn't a behind the scenes. It was really me bitching about something else. Had nothing to do with anything with the show. It was just, there's no finale thingy. Perhaps Mark's cards, it is Mark's cards tonight. Perhaps you'll be like, later, we can do a proper one. But yeah, of the show and the move and all that. This next month. And then we go to a new place. You'll find out what happens in the new place. It's happened before. It happened again. But yeah, So we're at the 8th episode, and there's a play. Of course, I'm going to play a church play, and of course, I have to stay long enough to be in the finale of the play. As well as doing these reviews. There aren't as much reviews on my channel. Apparently, the internet was freaking out that I hadn't logged on in a while on that channel. What's up with that? Anyway, so there's my review of Life. It's also in the a little bit a nod to the story of the episode. Is a little bit of a nod to the original lyrics of the Star Trek song as well. Life in the stars. Except it was Love of the Stars, or Roddenberry wrote Love of the Stars, not Life of the Stars. But that's okay. A star woman teaches. Yeah, Roddenberry was kind of horny. He would like this episode. He would like this series just based on the horny stuff. He would be okay with that. You know, oh yeah, this is fun. It's not really. I mean, it hasn't really been Star Trek. It's been 90210, but a better version than the Abrams 2009 version, in which they were all hooking up already, and Kirk was a cadet, and then immediately the commander on the ship. It's like, what? That really didn't make any sense on the Abrams movie. It really didn't. No. Then Strange New Worlds makes them act like cadets, and that version of Kirk's too old. So yeah, they've already screwed that up. But yeah, I think with the Stardate thing, I would say like they just should have reset it, but they haven't. It's a Cillian error though. It is 2390. It is 3295 in the story, not 3291. That's actually what it is. But the Stardates, due to the temporal 10C thing, have screwed up the time warp thing. Could be worse. She could be trapped for 2 weeks or 17 years inside what amounts to a giant tesseract thing, geodesic tesseract thing, which is messing with you, and your hologram kid friend isn't there. Raises the kid. He raises Sam. She comes back and she's okay, but she's got like a lifetime of programmed holographic memories inside her, being raised by the Doctor in Cillian space. How nice of him. But yeah, but does that mean that also Holly Hunter was the mother in that timeline? Because it kind of have to be. Yeah, it's timey-wimey stuff. Oh, are they supposed to be the aliens that are coming out of the synth wormhole dimension? Probably not. Those were evil. The evil tentacle aliens. Oh, that's weird. Well, they're basically Cillians. In Genesis is a Cillian. There's like 3 Cillians in the show. Maybe 4. There's a lot of Cillians. But I don't mind that. There should be a future Star Trek episode in this new continuity where I show up. I just show up. No, there needs to be. I just walk into the show and they're like, oh. And they do like like at Starbucks. They do like at Starbucks where they all say, there's Adam. He's got a cat, there's Adam. Merland's Adam. And it's like Norm from Cheers. That should just happen. Like I appear on Starfleet Academy Season 2, maybe. Just walk on or Strange New Worlds Season 4, which I think they've already done, so I won't be in that one. I won't be in Season 4. Maybe a little bit later. And I'll walk onto the set, and they'll just be, oh, hi! Calicat. Yay, hi. Hi, yeah. Oh, you wish to summon me for my Q powers? I can't grant you wishes. If I do, it'll end up being bad. No, I can't grant you wishes. Q. Yeah. Yeah, they might as well hire us up north. Yeah. No. Anyway, so yeah, good episode. Solid episode of new show. It does help that Mary Wiseman, who was a stage theater person before she was on Discovery, and again, a Broadway and off Broadway person, has the tenacity and stuff. And she's also yeah, she's bi. I believe she's bi. Yeah, so she is LGBTQ friendly, and she's bi. Anyway, so yeah. She was married briefly during the series Discovery, and then they were divorced, and then I guess she's someone else. But yes, oh my, and that's okay. It's the future. I think that's the main thing that ticks off the uber right wingers who aren't watching the shows. Is there might be a gay person there. And it's like, guys, really, it's 2026. Don't worry about that stuff. Stop. They're not going to come up to you and go, ew, I'm going to get all over you. Ah, it's not going to happen. They're not interested in you. They don't want you. They're not even in the friend zone at that point. Oh my. I understand it. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. It's like that old episode of What a Girl Want. What I Like About You. Season 1. They had 2 characters from 90210 show up on this early 2000s show with Amanda Bynes. And they had that. Luke Perry and Aaron Gray, I think. They walk in, and they're like doing some modification they're running a shop, like a bakery shop, and she comes in and he says, "Hand me the stud," and he goes, "I'm right here." And she's like, "Oh." That was pretty funny. That was a good joke. The stud. Oh, they've got the stud right here. No, the board. Oh. But yes, the board. The board spelled differently though. The Kasq. The Kasq. That does sound sickeningly familiar. Do I know them? Q. And also, of course, Scott Boyd over there on the other cast, the former STO guy doing our play, he decided to make his sniveling, sneaky Roman bad guy, informant dude. I guess he's like a centurion's helper or something. He decided to make him sound like Q. No, all the oldsters weren't quite getting the joke. Scott, really, Q? Really? So, exactly. Oh no. Oh, cool. Anyway, so yeah. Well, some of us will get the joke. I don't know about that Q voice, Scott. That's a little weird. Oh, you want me to take him somewhere, sir? Ooh. Anyway, yeah. Enjoy your emotional roller coaster that is this episode of the Academy, the Starfleet Academy.